Welcome to a night of total terror.
In 1968, George Romero brought us Night of the Living Dead. It became the classic horror film of its
We
time.
must not be lulled by the concept that these are our family members or our friends. They are not. They will not respond to such emotion.
Now, George Romero brings us the most intensely shocking motion picture experience for all time.
It gets up and kills. The people it kills get up and kill.
When there is no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth.
First came the night, then came the dawn. Now comes the most eagerly awaited day in horror film history.
Welcome back to Thursday of the Dead, episode 155. My name is Chase.
You actually put on a screening, I believe it was last year, and
Yep.
you have some insight into dealing with the rights holders of Dawn of the Dead. Can you talk about that a little bit, and how did and talk about a little bit about how the screening just came to be in general? How did you get the idea?
The idea came about in a really weird way because I was working for the library, and it was during my training for the library that they had said that there is a system on the library's website that's tied into the Sacramento Bee, which is our local paper, and they have a digitized archive that you can search by keyword. And so just the way my mind works, I thought, I raised my hand. It's like, can I look at movie listings that way? He said, yeah, any advertisements you can find that way. Said, and so I was like, so I can find a particular movie from the 70s and find out where it played and when? He said, yes, you can. And so that was the first thing I did. And then I had...
Sorry.
Okay, there we go.
There's the filibuster, sorry.
Yeah. Those are ginormous.
Yeah, it's just a little too much.
Yeah, for sure. So I found out that Dawn had played at 3 places in Sacramento. One of them was the Tower Theater, which is close to where I live, and a place that I've been going since I've lived in Sacramento. And it's a nice art house theater. And so I was already doing Dawn of the Dead Thursday at that point, and I had the idea of contacting the theater to see if I could do like a live shot or remote about it playing at Dawn of the Dead or playing at the Tower Theater in '79. And as just like to get my foot in the door, I threw into my email to corporate that I was interested in doing a screening of Dawn, if at all possible, just because I thought that they would, the financial incentive would make them more receptive to me. And it sure did. And so then they're like, yeah, let us know what you need and come on through. And so suddenly it was like, well, wait a minute. I could actually show Dawn at one of the theaters it was shown at in '79 for the 40th anniversary. And so my friend Leif Yonker, who runs the Wichita Horror Fest, had actually shown Dawn 3D at his fest. And he had already dealt with Richard Rubenstein and he and I had talked about it, because when he announced he was doing Dawn 3D, I was asking him, like, he was telling me how he watched, like, previewed the DCP of Dawn 3D in the theater before the screening and was saying how cool it was. And he gave me insight on how to deal with Richard. And the irony is I never dealt with Richard himself. All of my correspondence was through his assistant, Akiko, who was really cool. And so once I started the ball rolling, it was how much does it cost? And they wanted kind of a 50-50 split where they want to know how many seats in the theater, how many days, how much I'm going to charge. And then so after we got through that, they just said, we'll just do a flat fee. And then the problem was I was looking at one of the smaller theaters at the tower, which has 3 screens. And, just for financial reasons, once it was like, oh, I could actually do this, I was like, oh, I'm going to go for the big screen. But they would only show Dawn 3D. They'd only license Dawn 3D to me, like a DCP of it. And so that worked for me because I was thinking I was going to have to find someone with an actual 35 millimeter print and rent it from them and then ship it and then worry about shipping it back and what the quality was going to be like. And so the DCP helped me quite a bit. And so the hiccup was then in dealing with the management of the theater. They're like, we don't do 3D. And so I had the email from them saying they don't do 3D. And I sent that over to New Amsterdam, Richard's company, and said, oh, I wanted to do business with you, but they won't do 3D. Is there anything else we could do? And then she said, let me go check and see. And within a few days, she wrote back and said, yeah, Richard has approved to do a one-time exclusive 2D showing. And so then we negotiated the price on that, which was expensive. And then I had to take out a loan to rent out the theater itself. And then it happened. But it's funny because I didn't ever communicate directly with Richard on it. It was all through his assistant. And from what I heard, he was busy. I think he was working on the stand or something like that. Because, stand's coming up.
Just curious, yeah. I mean, what kind of attendance numbers were you going to need to break even?
I would have, so the screening or the screen that I picked, I think was a 400 seat, and I would have needed about 200, 250 to break even. And I think I got 100. Mm-hmm. And so it was a beautiful screening. I mean, it was in the best theater, probably the actual screen that it screened on originally, like the main screen in the theater. And everyone there was super respectful and cool. And it was scary for me because I'd never done anything like that. Never done a screening at all. And then that's like the big one. As I've said to friends, it's like I did the Mount Everest of movie screenings, like the most difficult screening you could do. I did it. And so I was like, I'm going to use this to kick off a series of zombie movie screenings. And so I had negotiated to do Let Sleeping Corpses Lie as my next screening at the same theater, except I was going to do it in one of the smaller screens, so it'd be less money for me, and negotiated the licensing fee, which is a fraction of what Dawn cost. Dawn was expensive.
Mm-hmm. Or you still have that on your plate? Are you maybe thinking about doing that in the future?
In the future, for sure. With the COVID stuff, nothing's open here still. And it's like, I don't know if people would come out now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure people will because they've been wanting to do stuff for a while, but then you do have the people that are going to remain cautious, and it's going to be some time before everybody feels comfortable to go out, and places like movie theaters and restaurants don't have such restrictions.
When I appeared as a guest on WGN Network show in September of 2020, Eric and Matt asked me about my Dawn of the Dead screening. I mentioned that the next movie would be Let Sleeping Corpses Lie, which is the alternate title for The Living Dead at the Manchester Morgue. I joked that it's the movie of many names. When it was released in the US, it was retitled Don't Open the Window. I own an original US poster under that title, and I'm giving it away as a VIP raffle prize, along with the original soundtrack record and a cool 45 single from the movie. When I screened Dawn of the Dead, I made an art print that was meant to commemorate the screening. My idea was to use that as a way to offer special ticketing options versus the general admission tickets. I did the same thing for my screening of Demons, which was successful. I'm doing it for each film in the Thursday of the Dead film series for 2022. I'm happy with the print for The Living Dead at the Manchester Morgue, which was made of 3 different paintings I did for this project. These prints will be signed and given to each VIP ticket holder when they check in at the Tower Theater tonight. I learned some valuable lessons during my last screening. The first is that I'm leaving the ticketing page open and active until 7 o'clock. Anyone showing up after that will be out of luck. The second is that I'll have a QR code ready for people to buy tickets in the lobby. I was surprised at the amount of people that showed up to buy tickets right then and there. I don't mind that, as I want to show the movie to as many people as I can. That's really what this comes down to. I'm not doing this film series as a profit center. I've lost money on each screening so far, but I'm working to make these screenings to where they pay for themselves. Demons was successful enough to pay for the theater rental, but not for the printing or the Demons mask that I paid full price for. I hope to see you Sacramento and Northern California friends there tonight at 7 p.m. The funny thing about running this show, which has evolved over the years, is that this is the third episode that's landed on the day of one of my screenings. The first was the 40th anniversary screening of Dawn of the Dead in December of 2019. Second was my return to screenings with Demons in July of this year, and tonight is a special one as it's a rare 4K restoration of The Living Dead at the Manchester Morgue. I initially contacted Synapse Films in late 2019 to see about licensing The Living Dead at the Manchester Morgue, following an article about the 4K restoration that was playing at film festivals.
Sergeant, if Christ and saints are out of fashion. Satan's all the rage these days.
Listen, boy, you keep getting on my nerves, and I'm going to give you another kind of house to look after. One with lots of bars in the windows.
We'd better reinforce that door. Take the lamp. I can just imagine the sergeant's face when he finds out.
Message for you.
Look, I know it sounds silly, but is it possible? I mean, could a film fail to catch an image for any reason?
Well, a ghost, maybe.